Hello students, welcome to your video class. This class is for 6th semester electrical engineering diploma students. In today's class we are going to discuss about the aerodynamic of wind turbines. First of all, we have to know that what do you mean by aerodynamics? It is a branch of dynamics, how things move under the action of force. Aerodynamic is the study of motion of air and how it is interact with the moving or stationary object. We can say aerodynamic is a necessary tool for modeling the loads and power output of a wind turbine. A wind turbine turns wind energy into electrical energy using the aerodynamic force from the rotor blades, which work like an airplane wing or helicopter rotor blade. When wind blows across the blade, the air pressure on one side of the blade decreases. The difference in air pressure across the two sides of the blade creates both lift and drag force. The force of the lift is stronger than the drag, and hence it causes the rotor to spin. The rotor connects to the generator either directly or through a soft series of gears that speed the rotation of allows physically smaller generation of the power. We have already discussed the wind energy conversion system. In that portion we have already covered how wind is used to extract the electrical energy. Wind turbine blades are normally designed according to the airfoil structure, which is commonly used in design of airplane wings. Normally, wind turbine blades are longer and slender structure, but the span-wise velocity component is much lower than the stream-wise component. Therefore, it is assumed in many aerodynamics that the flow at a given radial position of two-dimensional and 2D airfoil data can thus be applied. Airfoils, wind turbine blades are designed according to the airfoil structure, which is commonly used in the design of a aeroplane wing. Wind turbine blades use airfoil section to develop mechanical power. The width and length of the blade are a function of desired aerodynamic performance and the maximum desired rotor power. Before examining the detail of wind turbine power production, some airfoil aerodynamic principles are reviewed here. First of all, here you can see this is the diagram which shows the basic airfoil structure of a wind blade. Some terminologies are here to describe the basic airfoil, which we are called the basic airfoil terminology. Here you can see chord. One by one we have to discuss. First we will discuss, we can say this is the nomenclature of aerofoil and basic definitions. In this section we will discuss the nomenclature of aerofoil and all terms related to it are explained here. A key characteristics of an aerofoil is its chord and other. This is the chord. Here you can see this is the chord, and some terminology are leading angle, trailing edge, chord line, chord length. Here you can say this is the leading angle, angle of attack, leading edge radiation, chamber, trailing edge angle. One by one we will discuss. First of all, the leading edge. Here you can see this is the leading edge. This portion is the leading edge. This is a point at the front of aerofoil that has maximum curvature. Here you can see This is the point of the front. This is the front side of the aerofoil. This is the point at the front side of the aerofoil that has maximum curvature, that is known as your leading edge. The second one is trailing edge. Here you can see this part is indicating the trailing edge. Trailing edge is similarly like leading edge, but this point is at the point of maximum curvature at the rear of the aerofoil, means back side, at the end side of the aerofoil. That is your known as your trailing edge. First your leading edge, second one is your trailing edge. Then thirdly comes your chord line. This is a straight line. Chord line is a straight line connecting the leading and trailing edge of the aerofoil. Here you can see this is the straight line connecting the leading edge and trailing edge of the aerofoil. This is known as your chord line. Here you can see this is the chord line. Next, your chord length. What is the chord length? Chord length is the length of the chord line, and chord length is the length of the chord line and is the characteristic dimension of the aerofoil section. Next here is pitch angle. Pitch angle, here you can see pitch angle is denoted by alpha, or we can say angle of attack. The angle between the chord of the aerofoil section and the plane of rotation, also called as settling angle. This is the angle between chord of the aerofoil section and the plane of rotation is known as pitch angle. Then your angle of inclination, which is represented by I, and the pitch angle is represented by alpha. Chord of inclination, the angle between the relative velocity vector and the plane of the rotation is called as angle of inclination. Then your we will discuss about lift force, drag force, total force. Lift force is the component of aerodynamic force, the direction perpendicular to the relative wind. It is given by FL equal to, we will further discuss about all this. Then what is the chamber? Chamber, this is chamber. Distance between mean chamber line, midpoint of the airfoil, this here you can see, and the chord line. The distance between the mean midpoint of the airfoil and the chord line, it is known as chamber. Then span, length of the airfoil, normally the cross section, which is known as span. Distance between the upper and lower surface is known as thickness. Next we will discuss about what are the example standards of airfoil shapes. You can say NACA. Now, it is a Nationally Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. Here you can see it is written that NACA, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, which deals with testing and research related to wind turbine blades and aeroplane wings. All the blades are given separate code of separate code is given, such as example here you can see NACA 0012 type aerofoil, NACA 632 215 aerofoil. These are the different type of naming or specified separate code is given to the design of the aerofoil. The first digit gives the maximum chamber as percentage of the chord. The second digit gives the distance between of the maximum chamber for airfoil leading edge in the 10% of the chord, and the last two digit gives the maximum thickness of the airfoil as percent of the chord. This is the standard set by National Advisory Committee of Aerodynamics. Next we will discuss about what is the lift and drag and non-dimensional parameters. airflow over an airfoil produce distribution of forces over the airfoil surface. The low velocity over airfoils increases over the convex surface, resulting in lower average pressure on the suction side of the airfoil as compared with the concave or pressure side of the airfoil. Meanwhile, the viscous friction between the air and the airfoil surface slows airflow to some extent next to the surface. Next, in this diagram you can see all the parameters are described here: the pitch angle, the incident angle, the inclination angle, capital I. Here you can see this is alpha, and small I is the incident angle, capital I is the inclination angle. This is the plane of rotation. This force is applied. This all about the nomenclature of the airfoils. Next we will discuss about what is the lift force. Generally we are considering the lift force. It is a component of aerodynamic force in the direction of perpendicular to the relative wind, or it can be defined to be perpendicular to the direction of common airflow. The lift force is a consequence of the unequal pressure on the upper and the lower airfoil surfaces. Then lift force is given by, here I am writing the equation, lift force FL is equal to rho AB W2 C1 divided by 2. The unit is Newton. This is the lift force, which Ci is the dimensionless lift coefficient and V is the blade area in square meter. This is the formula for the lift force. Then is your drag force. We can shortly describe the drag force. It is the component of aerodynamic force in the direction of relative wind. Drag force defined to be parallel to the direction of oncoming airflow. The drag force is due to both to viscous friction force at the surface of the airfoil and to unequal pressure on the airfoil surface facing towards any away from the oncoming flow. Then pitching moment defined as the about an axis perpendicular to the airfoil cross section. This is your, here in the diagram you can see this is the airflow and this is making an angle alpha. This is the pitching moment. Drag force, lift force. In this direction lift force is acting, in this direction drag force is acting. This is your chord, you can see here. Next, the resultant of all this pressure and friction force is usually resolved into two forces and a moment that act along the chord C/4 from the leading edge. A quarter chord we can say. These forces are function of a Reynolds number which is equal to Re equal to EL by B. L is the characteristic length of example. Here you can see the chord length C. Next, the two-dimensional airfoil section lift, drag and pitching moment coefficients are normally defined as, this is the coefficient lift force per unit length, then your dynamic force unit length. This is the I can say coefficient of lift force C1. Here you can say here lift force coefficient is equal to lift force per unit length, dynamic force per unit length. Next, drag force coefficient is equal to drag force per unit length, dynamic force per unit length. Next, the moment, pitching moment coefficient is Cm is equal to pitching moment by dynamic moment. This is the coefficients given, equation of the coefficient given for the two-dimensional airfoil, lift section, drag section and pitching moment. A is equal to projected airfoil area, which is equal to chord into span. Next, here are the dimensionless parameters that are important for analysis of a design of wind turbines include the power and the thrust coefficient and a tip speed ratio mentioned in earlier, and also the pressure coefficient. The coefficient Cp is a pressure coefficient. Power coefficient Cp is a measure of aerodynamic efficiency of the wind turbine. Cp is equal to rotor power divided by wind power. It is a static pressure, dynamic pressure. So which is we can define is we can define by this equation. Here Cp is equal to P static pressure divided by dynamic pressure, and the blade surface roughness ratio is equal to surface roughness height by body length. And next, this is the aerodynamic behavior, the lift of a airfoil, which shows the drag coefficient and functions of alpha. This graphical representation of a airfoil aerodynamics behavior. Next section we will discuss about the airfoil of horizontal axis wind turbine are often designed to be used at low angle of attack, where lift coefficient are fairly high and drag coefficient are fairly low. The lift coefficient of this symmetric airfoil is about 0 at an angle of attack of 0 and increases over 124, decreasing the higher angle of attack. The drag coefficient is usually much lower than the lift coefficient at low angle of attack. It increases at higher angle of attack. Next, this is how we can represent the lift at low angle of attack, and which is the reduce the drag force using a cambered airfoil. Next, we will discuss about the airfoils for wind turbines. Typical blade chord ranges, which is 5 into 10 to the power 5 to or 1 into 10 to the power 7. In 1970 and 80s, designers thought airfoil performance was less important than optimizing blade twist and taper. Hence, helicopter blade sections such as National Advisory Committee Association Aeronautics were popular. It was viewed in a similar application. But the following shortcomings have led to more attention improved of airfoil design. Operational experience showed shortcomings. Stall controlled and horizontal wind turbine produce too much power in high wind, causing generator damage. That's why it gives more focus. Attention comes to the structure of the wind turbine, design of the wind turbine. The turbine were operating with some part of the blade in deep stall for more than 50% of the lifetime of the machine. Peak power and the peak blade loads were occurring while turbine was operating with most of the blade stalled, and predicted load were 50 to 70% of the major load. These are the load focusing points which are to be focused due to the strong construction of the wind turbines. Some theories which are included in the construction of a wind turbine: the momentum theory and blade element theory. The acute disk approaches yields the pressure changes across the disk that is in practice produced by the blade. This is and the axial and angular induction factor that are a function of rotor power extraction and thrust. will now be used to define the flow at the airfoil. The rotor geometry is its associated lift and drag characteristics can then be used to determine the rotor shape if some performance parameters are known, or rotor performance if the blade shape has been defined. Next, blade element theory, you can say momentum theory. The CV analysis of the forces at the blade based on the conservation of linear and angular momentum. The blade element theory analyzes the force at a section of the blade as a function of blade geometry. Result combined into strip theory or blade element theory, momentum theory. This relates blade shape to the rotor ability to extract power from the wind. This analysis encompasses momentum and blade element theory, the simplest optimum blade design with an infinite number of blades and no wake rotation. Next, use your performance characteristics, which includes force, rotor airflow characteristics, power coefficient for a general blade design of known chord and twist distribution, including wake rotation, drag, and the loss due to finite number of blades. A simple optimum blade design include wake rotation and infinite number of blades. This blades design can be used as the start for a general blade design analysis. Next, this momentum theory. Here in the figure you can see. Here in the figure you can see the annular control volume as before, with the induction factors A and A dash being a function of radius. Next, applying the linear momentum conservation, we can find that this equation which describes the conservation of angular momentum differential torque, and this is the torque. dq is equation for the torque. Together these define thrust and torque on an annual section of the rotor function of actual and induction factors that represent the flow conditions. Next, the blade element theory. The forces on the blade of a wind turbine can also expressed as a function of lift force, drag force, and pitch angle. For this analysis, the blade is assumed to be divided into n sections or elements. Here you can see the blade element, three factors. Some assumptions are to be taken. There is no aerodynamic interaction between elements. The forces on the blade are determined solely by the lift and drag characteristics of the airfoil shape of the blade. Here you can see C is the airfoil chord length, dr is the radial length, r is the radius, capital R is the rotor radiation, and delta is the rotor angular velocity. Here you can see this is acting on the perpendicular line. This force R is the rotor radiation, and here the airfoil is perpendicular. Next, your overall geometry for horizontal axis turbine is U is equal to velocity of undistributed flow, delta is equal to angular velocity for the rotor, A is equal to axial induction factor, which is gives the parameters for the horizontal axis wind turbine. Here you can note that lift and drag forces are perpendicular and parallel respectively to an effective or relative wind. The relative wind is the vector sum of wind velocity of the rotor and the wind velocity due to rotation of the blade. Then your rotor design element theory, which is there is a hits of the blade in an angle alpha, which is called an angle of attack. The reference line for the blade is most often called the chord line. The force of the blade F can be divided into two components, which is lift force and drag force, per definition perpendicular to with direction. The lift force is given by, here the formula is given for the lift force. student, you have to memorize the formula for the lift force, and this is formula for the drag force. Normally we are hiding the glide ratio for wind turbines as well as aeroplanes. Next, this is pitch angle alpha we have already discussed, and pitch angle for the blade angle relative. The blade is moving upward, thus the wind speed seen from the blade is moving downward with a speed of u, which is given by, here you can see the speed of blade is given by w square equal to v square plus u square. To design the rotor, we have to define pitch angle beta and the chord length c. Both of them depend on the given radius that we are looking at there for sometimes. Pitch angle and the chord length we have already discussed before. Next, this is some expressions which is represent the Wirth coefficient. You have to just go through the equations. Next, we have to discuss what is the rotor thrust and the torque. These are the some element theory which gives normal thrust and tangential force torque, we can say, equations. The effect of drag is to decrease torque and hence the power, but increase the thrust loading. These equations will be used to get blade shapes for optimum performance and to find rotor performance for an arbitrary shape. With this, we will conclude our video and completed what is the aerodynamics of the wind turbines.